Lesson 1. Telephone English Phrases. First, let's learn some essential telephone vocabulary, and then you'll hear examples of formal and informal telephone conversations. There are different types of phones: cell phones or mobile phones. A cell phone with more advanced capabilities is called a smartphone. Pay phones or public phones. The regular telephone you have in your house is called a landline, to differentiate it from a cell phone. This type of phone is called a cordless phone because it is not connected by a cord. When someone calls you, the phone makes a sound. We say the phone is ringing. If you're available, you pick up the telephone or answer the telephone in order to talk to the person. If there's nobody to answer the phone, then the caller will have to leave a message on an answering machine or voicemail. Later, you can call back or return the call. When you want to make a phone call, you start by dialing the number. Let's imagine that you call your friend, but she's already on the phone with someone else. You'll hear a busy signal. A beeping sound that tells you the other person is currently using the phone. Sometimes when you call a company, they put you on hold. This is when you wait for your call to be answered, usually while listening to music. Finally, when you're finished with the conversation, you hang up. Now you know the basic telephone vocabulary. In the next part of the lesson, you're going to hear some conversations to learn some useful English phrases for talking on the phone. Conversation number 1. Formal telephone conversation.
Midtown Computer Solutions, Helen speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Ryan Bardos. May I speak with Natalie Jones, please?
One moment, please. I'll put you through. Mr. Bardos, I'm sorry, Natalie's in a meeting at the moment. Would you like to leave a message?
Yes, could you ask her to call me back as soon as possible? It's pretty urgent.
Of course. Does she have your number?
She has my office number, but let me also give you my cell. It's 472-555-8901.
Let me read that back to you. 472-555-8901.
That's right.
And could you spell your last name for me?
B as in Boston, A-R-D as in dog, O-S as in September.
Okay, Mr. Bardos, I'll give her the message.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello?
Hi, Ryan. This is Natalie returning your call.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks for getting back to me. I was calling about the shipment of keyboards for our office. We haven't gotten them yet.
Oh, that's not good. They were supposed to be delivered 3 days ago.
Exactly. And we have a new group of employees starting on Monday, so we really need those keyboards as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll look into it right away. If necessary, we can send you an emergency overnight shipment.
Thanks, Natalie. I appreciate it.
No problem, Ryan. I'll call you back a little later, as soon as I have more information.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.
Bye. From these conversations, we can learn phrases for beginning a phone call, taking and leaving messages, checking and clarifying information, and finishing a phone call. Beginning a call. When Helen answers the phone, she says,
Midtown Computer Solutions, Helen speaking. How can I help you?
This is a common way for a receptionist at a company or organization to answer the phone. Here are a couple alternatives. Thank you for calling Midtown Computer Solutions. How may I direct your call? Midtown Computer Solutions, good afternoon. To introduce yourself, you can say, Hello, this is, and if you want, you can add your company name. Hello, this is Ryan Bardos. Hello, this is Ryan Bardos from Paramount Publishing. Then, ask to speak to somebody by using the phrases, May I speak with? could I speak with? You can also add the phrase, I'm calling about, or I'm calling to, in order to give a reason for your call. Use I'm calling about to introduce a topic, and I'm calling to introduce an action. I'm calling about the job opening I saw in the newspaper. I'm calling to register for the upcoming conference. To connect or transfer the call, the receptionist says, "One moment, please, I'll put you through." A few other phrases for transferring a call are, "Please hold." "I'll transfer you." "May I ask who's calling?" "Who's calling, please?" If you forgot to identify yourself at the beginning of the call, the receptionist will sometimes use this phrase to ask for your name. Taking and leaving messages. Unfortunately, the person Ryan wants to speak to is not available, and the receptionist says, "I'm sorry, Natalie's in a meeting at the moment." Here are some additional phrases to use when another person can't answer a telephone call. "I'm sorry, she's on another call." "I'm sorry, Natalie has left for the day." "I'm sorry, Natalie's not in her office right now." "I'm sorry, she's out of town at the moment." "I'm sorry, she's not available at the moment." Then there are two common phrases that are used for offering to take a message. Would you like to leave a message? Can I take a message? If you don't want to leave a message, you can say, "No thanks, I'll call back later." There are two polite ways to leave a message. You can make a statement starting with please, or a question starting with could you, usually followed by the verbs ask, tell, or remind, and then him if the message is for a man, or her if the message is for a woman. Could you ask her to call me back? Please ask him to call me back. Please tell him that the documents are ready. Please remind her that she has a dentist appointment tomorrow. Clarifying and confirming information. While taking the message, the receptionist used two phrases for checking and confirming information. Let me read that back to you. Could you spell your last name for me? The verb spell means to say the letters of the word. Ryan replies, B as in Boston, A, R, D as in dog, O, S as in September. It's common to use phrases like B as in Boston and S as in September with letters that can be frequently confused with others, such as B and D, S and F, or M and N. Finishing a call. When you want to finish the conversation, you can use signal phrases. These are phrases indicating that the conversation is coming to an end. Well, it was nice talking with you. Thanks for calling. Anyway, I should let you go. Anyway, I should get going. If you want to promise future contact, you can use one of the phrases from the second conversation. I'll get in touch in a couple of days. I'll call you back a little later. Talk to you soon. Then you can finish the conversation with one of these final phrases. Bye. Take care. Have a nice day. You too. Bye. Conversation number 2. Informal telephone conversation. Let's listen to an informal telephone conversation after Ryan gets home from work. Hello?
Hi, Linda. It's Ryan. How's it going?
Pretty good, thanks. How about you?
I'm fine. Sure glad it's Friday. Hey, is Peter there?
Yeah, hold on, I'll get him. Peter, Ryan's on the phone.
Hey, Ryan. What's up?
Not much. Are you up for going fishing this weekend?
What? There's a lot of background noise. I can barely hear you.
Sorry about that. I'm at the train station. I was wondering if you wanted to go fishing this weekend. I'm heading up to Mountain Lake with some friends early tomorrow morning.
Hang on a sec. Let me just check with my wife to make sure we have no other plans.
Sure.
Okay, she's given me the green light.
Sweet. We'll pick you up at 6 tomorrow morning. Is that okay?
Yep. Do you need directions to my place?
You still living on Willow Street near the community center?
Yeah, that's right. The yellow house, number 30.
Gotcha. I know how to get there.
All right. See you tomorrow then.
Take care.
Bye.
Telephone English phrases for informal conversation. Let's learn some of the different phrases used in an informal telephone conversation. In informal phone calls, most people answer the phone by saying, "Hello?" and the introduction is also different. Formal: "Hello, this is Shayna." Informal: "Hey Linda, it's Shayna." "Hi Linda, it's Shayna." We see two different greetings in this conversation. "How's it going?" and "What's up?" These greetings require different answers. You can answer, "How's it going?" or the similar question, "How are you doing?" with, "Great," "Pretty good, thanks," "Not so good." And the typical answers to "What's up?" are, "Not much," "Nothing much." The phrase, "How about you?" is used to ask the same question to the other person. Notice that it is spoken like this: "How about you?" In the formal conversation, Ryan used the phrase, "May I speak with?" But in an informal conversation, you can use these phrases: "Is Peter there?" "Is Peter around?" "Can I talk to Peter?" If the person is not available, some informal responses are, "Sorry, he's not home right now." "He's not here." "He's still at work." "He's at the gym." This conversation also contains some informal expressions for asking someone to wait. "Hold on." "Hang on a sec." "Just a minute." "Just a sec." The formal equivalent of these phrases would be, "One moment, please," or "Please hold." At one point, Peter can't hear or understand Ryan. Here are some phrases to use if you're having difficulty hearing the other person on the phone. "There's a lot of background noise. I can barely hear you." "You're breaking up. Could you call me back?" "We have a bad connection." "Sorry, I didn't catch what you just said." "Could you speak a little louder?" "Could you speak a little more slowly?" "What did you say?" "Could you repeat that?" "Could you say that again?" If the bad connection causes the call to fail, you can call the other person back and say this: "Hi, it's Ryan again. Apparently we got cut off." Cut off is a phrasal verb that means the call failed or disconnected. Towards the end of the conversation, Ryan uses the phrase, "Gotcha." This is a very informal phrase that means, "I understand." Another option is, "Got it," or "Right." Now take the quiz to test your memory of the telephone phrases from this lesson. You've finished Lesson 1 of the Everyday English Speaking course. Lesson 2, Apartments and Neighborhoods. Welcome to Lesson 2 of the Everyday English Speaking course. Today you're going to learn vocabulary and phrases for renting an apartment and talking about where you live. First, listen to this conversation between Jackie and a real estate agent. That's a person who helps arrange rentals and purchases of apartments and houses. Conversation 1. Renting an apartment. "Hi there. I'd like to rent a place in Brooklyn."
Okay, let's have a look at the listings. How many bedrooms?
Either a studio or one-bedroom apartment would be fine.
And what kind of price range are we looking at?
Up to about $1,200 a month.
Let's see. I have a furnished studio apartment for $800 right near the L train. It's a steal, but it won't be available until February 1st.
Ah, that's too bad. I gotta move in as soon as possible.
There's a newly renovated one-bedroom near Prospect Park with hardwood floors and a balcony. The rent is $1,250 and it's available immediately.
Sounds nice, but I can't afford it. Ooh, this place looks nice. How much is the rent?
It's $1,000.
Does that include utilities?
It includes water and electricity, but TV or internet would be extra. Oh, and there are laundry facilities in the building.
Is there a security deposit?
Yes, $750, and also a $50 fee for the credit check.
That could work. Is it close to a subway station?
Yup, it's just a 5-minute walk from the F train.
Does it have air conditioning?
No, but the description says it has great ventilation, so it doesn't get too hot.
Okay, when can I see it?
How about tomorrow at 2?
Great. Oh, I forgot to ask. Is it okay to have a pet?
I'll have to check with the landlord, but I think small pets are allowed.
Conversation vocabulary and phrases. The first question the agent asks Jackie is how many bedrooms she would like to have in her apartment. She says she wants a studio apartment, an apartment with one big space that includes the bed, kitchen, living area, etc., or a one-bedroom apartment, an apartment with a bedroom that is separate from the living room, kitchen, etc. Bigger apartments are described as 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, or 5-bedroom apartments. Sometimes, in the listings or classified ads, this is abbreviated as 1BR, 2BR, etc. The agent then asks about her price range, the minimum and maximum she would like to pay for rent. She says she would like to pay up to $1,200. So when he shows her an apartment that is $1,250, she says, "I can't afford it." That means, "I don't have enough money." Another way to say this is, "That's outside my price range." You can also say, "I'm looking for something a little more affordable," to communicate the idea that you want a lower price. Jackie sees pictures of an apartment she likes and asks a number of questions. How much is the rent? Does that include utilities? Utilities are services like water, electricity, internet, and cable TV. Is there a security deposit? A security deposit or damage deposit is an amount of money that you pay when you move in to pay for any possible damage you might do to the apartment. If there is no damage, you will receive this money back when you move out of the apartment. Is it okay to have a pet? Or, are pets allowed? A pet is a small domestic animal like a cat, dog, rabbit, etc. Here are some other questions to ask about an apartment you're thinking of renting. Does it have air conditioning? Does it have a balcony? Does it have hardwood floors? Does it have carpeting? Does it have laundry facilities? Does it have an elevator? Does it have appliances? Does it have a parking garage? Does it have a parking spot? Is it furnished? Furnished means it has complete furniture, couches, tables, chairs, a bed, etc. Is it close to a subway station? Is it close to a bus stop? Is it close to a supermarket? Is it close to a laundromat? A laundromat is a place where you can pay to use a washing machine and dryer to clean your clothes. When is it available? Or, when can I move in? When can I see it? Do I have to sign a lease? A lease or rental agreement is a contract that guarantees you will rent the apartment for a specific period of time. For example, 6 months, 12 months, or 2 years. When answering Jackie's final question about pets, the agent says he'll have to check with the landlord. This means the person who owns the apartment and who has decided to rent it out. If it's a woman, then she's called a landlady. The official word for a person renting an apartment, in this case Jackie, is tenant. Many landlords, before agreeing to let someone rent their apartment, will perform a credit check on the potential tenant. This means they check the person's financial records to see if they have paid on time in the past. It's also possible for the landlord to request references, contact information for people who know the tenant and can describe the person. Okay, let's imagine that Jackie decided to rent the last apartment mentioned in the conversation. Now she calls her friend Pamela to talk about it. Conversation number 2. Talking about where you live. Hey Pamela, it's Jackie.
Jackie, hi. How's the apartment hunt going?
Actually, I just signed the lease on an apartment in Flatbush.
Flatbush? Isn't that a sketchy neighborhood?
Well, it's a working class area. Some of the buildings are a little run down, but it's actually quite safe.
Oh, that's good to hear. So, tell me about your new place.
I love it. The building is clean and quiet. The appliances in the kitchen are all brand new, and there are huge windows that let in a lot of natural light. The bathroom is a little cramped, but it doesn't bother me too much.
Is it in one of those high-rise apartment complexes?
No, it's in a 3-story walk-up. I'll definitely get my exercise going up and down 3 flights of stairs every day.
Hey, it saves you money on a gym membership. What's your commute like?
It's great. It's just 20 minutes.
Lucky you. Do you have a roommate?
Nope, I like having the place to myself. So tell me, how's life in the suburbs treating you?
It's pretty nice. We're renting a very spacious house for a fraction of what we used to pay in New York. It has a huge backyard, which is great for the kids to play in. You're welcome to visit any time you need a break from the city.
Thanks, I'll definitely take you up on that sometime. Conversation vocabulary and phrases. Pamela asks Jackie if Flatbush is a sketchy neighborhood. Sketchy is a slang word meaning not well maintained and not safe. Jackie responds that it's a working class area, meaning that the people who live in the area work for typically low salaries. Here are some other ways to describe the area where you live. I live in a residential area. I live in a business district. I live in an upscale area. I live downtown. I live in the city center. I live on the outskirts of the city. I live in a suburban area. I live in the suburbs. I live in a rural area. I live in the countryside. Jackie names several positive aspects of her new apartment. The building is clean and quiet. The appliances in the kitchen are all brand new. There are huge windows that let in a lot of natural light. Here are some more positive aspects of houses or apartments. It's very spacious. It's in a great location. It was recently renovated. The one downside of Jackie's apartment is that the bathroom is a little cramped. That means small and uncomfortable. Here are more phrases for problems with your living area. The apartment is dark and dingy. Dingy means dirty and discolored. There's very little ventilation. My neighbors are noisy and inconsiderate. Noisy is the opposite of quiet, and inconsiderate means they don't think about the effects of their actions on other people. The landlord takes forever to make repairs. Takes forever means delays an extremely long time, and make repairs means to fix things that are broken. It's infested with cockroaches or rats. The building is run down. Run down means not well maintained or cared for. How would you describe the place or area where you live? Click here to leave me a message describing your home and neighborhood, and I'll send you tips and corrections. Lesson 3. TV and Movies. Conversation 1. Talking about TV. Emily and Dave are a husband and wife who are relaxing in front of the TV on a Saturday night. Listen to them decide on which TV show to watch. Are you watching this, or can I change the channel?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Where's the remote?
On the table. Is there anything good on tonight?
The Big Bang Theory. I love this show. It's hilarious.
Really? I'm not a huge fan. The dialogue is so contrived.
Shh, it's starting. Oh no, it's a rerun. I've already seen this episode.
Let's see what else is on. What do you feel like watching?
Something entertaining. No talk shows or documentaries.
The Bachelorette?
Ugh, you know I can't stand that show.
The Price is Right?
Nah, I'm not in the mood for a game show. Why don't you stop channel surfing and just check the TV guide?
Hey, the season finale of Lost is on Channel 5.
Yeah, okay. Let's watch that. Conversation phrases and vocabulary. A few different types of TV shows are mentioned in the dialogue. Here's a list of the general categories of TV programs. What kind of TV shows do you like to watch? I like to watch the news, reports about current events. I like to watch talk shows, programs that discuss events and topics in more detail. I like to watch documentaries, educational programs about history, travel, nature, or culture. I like to watch game shows, programs where people compete to win prizes. I like to watch sitcoms. Sitcoms is short for situation comedy, a half-hour show that shows the life of a family or group of people. I like to watch cartoons. Cartoons are animated programs, often for kids. I like to watch soap operas, fictional programs about the daily lives and relationships of the same group of people. I like to watch crime series, shows in which police and detectives try to solve crimes. I like to watch reality shows, programs that film everyday people in real situations. I'm addicted to, I'm hooked on. This is an informal way to say you really like a show and you can't stop watching it. Emily asks Dave if she can change the channel. We can refer to different TV channels by the name of the network, for example, CNN, ESPN, or the Discovery Channel, or by the number, Channel 4, Channel 5, etc. We use a device called a remote control, or simply remote for short, to change the channel. Towards the end of the conversation, Emily tells Dave to stop channel surfing. If a person is channel surfing, it means he is changing the channels very fast, without stopping to watch anything. Informally, TV programs are often called shows, as when Emily said, "I love this show." TV shows can be organized into a series with various seasons, each one composed of various episodes. Each episode is one 30-minute or 60-minute program. The last episode of a season is called the season finale, and the last episode of the series is called the series finale. After the series finale, the series ends, and no more new episodes are produced. This diagram will help show the difference. In the dialogue, Emily is disappointed because the episode of The Big Bang Theory on TV is a rerun. This means it is not a new episode. It is an old episode that is appearing on TV again. Here are some additional phrases for talking about TV watching. Can I change the channel? Where's the remote? What's on? Is there anything on? These are typical ways to ask what programs are appearing on TV at the moment. Could you turn up the volume? Turn up means to increase, and turn down means to decrease. He spends hours glued to the TV. He's a couch potato. These expressions describe someone who watches a lot of TV and is lazy. I never miss an episode of my favorite show. This commercial is really funny. The advertisements on TV are called commercials. Conversation number 2. Talking about movies. Bill and Wanda are two friends who are chatting about movies. Listen to their conversation to learn some new vocabulary and phrases.
Have you seen the trailer for the final part of the Space Wars trilogy?
No, but I've read the reviews. They say the premise is intriguing, but the plot is hard to follow.
Oh, really? That's too bad. When I saw part 2, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, and the special effects were stunning. My son loved it too.
You took your son to that movie? What's it rated?
Well, it's PG-13, mostly because of the violence, I think. There wasn't too much profanity.
If you say so. I think I'll skip Space Wars 3, though. I prefer chick flicks, and comedies, as long as they don't go overboard on the potty humor.
You know, there's a sequel to The Notebook coming out this fall.
A sequel? I heard it was a remake. I'm not sure who's starring in it, but they'll have a hard time topping the original cast.
Ah, you might be right. What's your favorite movie, by the way?
Life is Beautiful. It's sort of a mix of comedy and drama about a family that lives through the Holocaust. It's very touching. I always cry at the end.
I haven't seen that, actually. I've never heard of it.
It's an Italian film, and you should definitely watch it with subtitles. Don't bother with the dubbed version. It loses all the expression of the original language.
I'll keep that in mind.
Conversation vocabulary and phrases. We have a number of movie-related vocabulary words in this conversation. Bill starts by asking Wanda if she's seen the trailer for a new movie. A trailer is a short 2 to 3 minute video summary of a movie showing a few scenes that will interest people in seeing the entire movie. He mentions a trilogy. That's a series of 3 movies, like Lord of the Rings. Later in the conversation, 2 more words for movies are used, a sequel and a remake. A sequel is a second movie that continues the story from the first movie. For example, American Pie and American Pie 2. And a remake is a new version of an old movie. It tells the same story, but with new actors and in a new way. Wanda asks what the movie is rated. The rating of the movie tells you if it is appropriate for various age groups. This is the list of movie ratings in the U.S. G means general audience. The movie is okay for everyone. PG means some material in the movie might not be okay for children. PG-13 means parents are strongly cautioned. There's inappropriate material for children under 13 years old. R means restricted. Children under 17 can only enter if accompanied by a parent or guardian. And NC-17 means adults only. Wanda also mentions movie reviews. These are evaluations of the movie written by critics. A critic is a person who professionally evaluates movies. A movie has only one official rating, but it has various reviews, because different critics and different people probably have different opinions of the movie. The general group of actors and actresses in a movie is called the cast. Sometimes we use the verb star or starring to describe the main actors who are featured in the movie. Titanic, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, was one of the most popular movies of the decade. Forrest Gump stars Tom Hanks as a mentally challenged man who lives through many historic moments. Finally, Wanda recommends an Italian film, and she tells Bill to watch it with subtitles. That's when the translated words appear as text on the screen. On the other hand, if a film is dubbed, that means the dialogue has been recorded by voice actors in a different language, and the original audio is then replaced by the new audio. Now practice these positive, neutral, and negative comments for talking about movies. Positive comments. It was hilarious. Hilarious means very funny. It was pure adrenaline. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. These phrases describe movies that are very exciting. It was very touching. It was very moving. The words touching and moving mean the movie had a strong emotional effect. The special effects were stunning. Stunning means amazing or very surprising in a good way. There are some incredible stunts. Stunts are acrobatic movements and dangerous tricks performed by people in the film. I loved the soundtrack. The music used in a movie is called the soundtrack. The opening scene was very powerful. The different situations in a movie are called scenes. There was an interesting twist at the end. A twist is a surprising or unexpected change of events. It was nominated for an award. It won a couple awards. The critics gave it 4.5 stars. Sometimes movies are evaluated on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, with 5 stars being the best. It was a real hit. It was a real blockbuster. These phrases describe a movie that's popular and successful. Neutral comments. What's it rated? It's directed by. It's produced by. It stars. He plays. It's based on a true story. It's set in. The story takes place in. Use these phrases to describe the location of the story in the film. It was filmed in. It was shot in. Use this phrase to describe the real location where the movie was filmed. It has subtitles. It's dubbed. It's a sequel. It's a remake. Negative comments. There's a lot of profanity. It's not appropriate for kids. Profanity means swearing or cursing, bad words. There's graphic sex. There's graphic violence. Graphic means the sex and violence is shown clearly and explicitly. There was too much blood and gore. Blood and gore refers specifically to violence. The plot was hard to follow. This means the progress of the story was hard to understand. There was lots of potty humor. Potty humor is humor involving sex, bodily functions, or disgusting things. It wasn't very believable. This means the film was not realistic. It was hard to believe. The characters were shallow. The characters were one-dimensional. This means the characters in the movie were not complex or interesting. It was a flop. It bombed. These phrases describe a movie that was not successful. You've finished Lesson 3. There were a lot of new words in today's conversations, so make sure to take the quiz to help you remember them better. Lesson 4. Relationships. Conversation number 1. Talking about meeting, dating, and getting married. Listen to Laura and Sharon's conversation about how Laura met and fell in love with her husband, Joe. Joe and I are celebrating our 10th anniversary this month.
Congratulations! I'm curious, how do you two meet?
It was in college. I was actually going out with someone else at the time.
Oh, really? Who?
This guy named Mike. He was captain of the basketball team and all the girls had a crush on him, so I was thrilled when he asked me out. We started dating, but we really didn't have much in common.
So that's when Joe showed up and swept you off your feet?
No, actually, it wasn't love at first sight. We became friends, and sometimes it seemed like he was flirting with me, but I wasn't really attracted to him. I thought he wasn't my type. But over time I realized I was falling in love with him.
Well, you two are a match made in heaven. How'd he pop the question?
Believe it or not, he never officially proposed. When things started getting serious, we moved in together, and a couple years later we decided to get married and make it official.
Are you doing anything special for your anniversary?
Yeah, so our wedding was really low-key, and we never had a honeymoon, so he surprised me by planning a 2-week romantic getaway in Costa Rica.
That's so sweet. I hope you have a wonderful time.
Conversation vocabulary and phrases. In this dialogue, we have phrases for beginning a relationship, being in a relationship, and getting engaged and married. When Laura first met Joe, she wasn't instantly attracted to him. Here are some phrases for describing a lack of attraction to someone. We're just friends. He's not my type. This means that the other person's appearance or personality is not similar to the type of person you usually date. We don't have much in common. I'm not really attracted to him. I don't know what you see in him. This is a comment you can make to a friend, if your friend is dating a person who you think is not interesting or attractive at all. But be careful, your friend might take offense. Sometimes two people meet and form an instant romantic connection. Here are some expressions for that. We really hit it off. Hit it off can be used for both romantic and non-romantic social connections. We had great chemistry. We just clicked. It was love at first sight. When Mike started his relationship with Laura, he asked her out, invited her to go on a date, dinner, a movie, dancing, etc. Practice these phrases for the beginning of a relationship. I have a crush on him. This means you are very attracted to someone, but you are not yet dating. The other person may or may not know about your feelings. He was flirting with me. Flirting means demonstrating romantic interest through comments, gestures, etc. He asked me out. She was playing hard to get. This means a person is pretending not to be interested in dating, but secretly she is interested. She just wants the guy to be persistent. We fell in love. We hooked up. This means having a sexual experience together. There are a few different ways in English to say that two people are currently in a romantic relationship. Here are the most common phrases. They're dating. They're an item. He's going out with. He's seeing. It's getting serious. My boyfriend. My girlfriend. My partner. My significant other. My better half. The word partner is often used for gay or lesbian couples. Significant other and better half can be used for men or women. My better half is an affectionate way to refer to your romantic companion. When two people have been dating for a long time, they might want to take the next step and make their relationship official. We moved in together. When two people begin to live together in the same apartment or house. He proposed. He popped the question. Both of these phrases mean he asked her to marry him. The second phrase is much more informal. We're engaged. This means that two people are definitely planning to get married. In this situation, the man is called the fiancé and the woman the fiancée. We're getting married next month. Some informal expressions for getting married are getting hitched, tying the knot, and saying I do. At a wedding, the woman is called the bride and the man is called the groom. They're newlyweds. This phrase describes a couple who recently got married. It was a match made in heaven. They're perfect for each other. Both of these phrases describe two people who are great together. We've been married for 10 years. Conversation number 2. Ending a relationship and looking for love again. Gary and Jill are acquaintances who haven't seen each other in several years. One day, they run into each other in a cafe. Let's listen in on their conversation.
Hey, Jill. Long time no see.
Gary, hi. How have you been?
Pretty good. I'm still working at the Boston Bank, but now I'm a manager.
That's great. How's Rachel doing?
Actually, we're no longer together.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I mean, it was mutual. You know, we were always fighting, and we both needed some space, so we decided to take a break.
Yeah, it happens.
How about you? I heard through the grapevine that you were seeing some rich Italian businessman?
Oh no, that was just a fling. Nothing serious. I've been single pretty much ever since I dumped Peter.
If you don't mind my asking, what happened between you guys? I always thought you made the perfect couple.
We had great chemistry, but he was really jealous. Every time I smiled at another guy, he thought I was cheating on him.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, I was glad to be out of that relationship. Now I'm looking for someone who really shares my values and has a sense of humor. Conversation, vocabulary, and phrases. Jill discovers that Gary has separated from his ex-girlfriend Rachel. Gary says, "We're no longer together," which is a polite and diplomatic way to talk about a separation without saying anything bad about the other person. Here are some additional phrases. We're no longer together. We broke up. We split up. The breakup was mutual. This means that both people agreed to separate. He dumped me. This means that one person decided to end the relationship, but the other person didn't want to. Their marriage is on the rocks. Their marriage is in trouble. Use these phrases to say when a marriage is having difficulties and may end soon. They got back together. Use this phrase when two people ended their relationship but then restarted it. Why do relationships end? There are a number of common reasons. Gary mentions two of them. We were always fighting, and we needed some space, meaning we needed to be apart in order to preserve our emotional health. Here are some other common reasons for breakups. We fell out of love. This is the opposite of falling in love. It describes when two people naturally lose their romantic feelings for each other over time. He cheated on me. When one person in the relationship has sex with someone else. He had an affair. When a married person has a prolonged sexual relationship with another person who is not their husband or wife. We were always fighting. He was too jealous. She was too needy. She was too clingy. I needed some space. It was a long-distance relationship, and it just didn't work out. You can use the phrase, "it just didn't work out," to provide a general reason for the end of the relationship, without explaining any details. Gary asks Jill about her relationship with a rich Italian businessman, but Jill says it was just a fling, which means a temporary relationship that is not very serious. It was just a fling. It was just a one-night stand. This means you had sex with the person for one night only. A fling can be longer, for example, a few days, weeks, or months. They're friends with benefits. This describes two people who are friends and who have sex because they enjoy it, but who do not consider themselves to be in a real romantic relationship. At the end of the conversation, Jill talks about what she's looking for in a man. You can say, "I'm looking for someone with a great sense of humor. I'm looking for someone with a sense of adventure. I'm looking for someone from a similar background. I'm looking for someone who shares my values. I'm looking for someone who's financially stable. I'm looking for someone who's open-minded, easygoing, intelligent, patient, caring, etc." Today's speaking challenge is to tell me about a previous romantic relationship. How did you meet? When did you fall in love? And what happened with the relationship? Did you stay together or did you break up? Click here to leave a message, and I'll send you tips and corrections. Lesson 5. Hobbies. Welcome to Lesson 5 of the Everyday English Speaking course. Today we're going to talk about hobbies. The word hobby refers to an activity or interest that you do for pleasure or relaxation. Conversation 1. Talking about hobbies. Ron and Eileen are getting to know each other on a first date. Listen to each of them ask and answer questions about their hobbies.
So what do you like to do in your free time? Do you have any hobbies?
I'm really into rock climbing. I go up to the mountains every chance I can get.
Rock climbing? Wow! How long have you been doing that?
About 5 years. My college roommate introduced me to it. Unfortunately, I've been super busy these days, and I haven't been able to do much climbing, so I go jogging to stay in shape. How about you? Do you play any sports?
No, I'm not very athletic. I work out at the gym once in a while. I spend a lot of time reading, and I'm interested in photography, but actually, my newest passion is gardening.
Really? How'd you get into gardening?
I read an article that piqued my interest about how homegrown vegetables are much healthier than what you buy in the supermarket, so I decided to give it a try.
No kidding. Well, I don't have a garden, but I have been getting into cooking and baking lately. I'm not very good at it, but it is fun to experiment. Conversation vocabulary and phrases. Ron starts by asking Eileen about her hobbies. Here are a few different ways to ask this question. What are your hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? What do you do in your spare time? What do you do in your free time? What do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do outside of work or school? To answer the question, you can say, I like, I love, I enjoy, I'm really into, I'm interested in. Be careful not to say, I'm interesting in. It's a very common error. I spend a lot of time. My newest passion is. After like and love, you can use the to form or the ing form of the verb, or a noun. I like reading. I like to read. I like literature. But after enjoy and in the other phrases, you can only use a noun or a verb in the ing form. I enjoy surfing. For a hobby that you've started recently, you can say, I've been getting into cooking and baking lately. I've taken up sailing. There are hundreds and hundreds of hobbies, and you can read an extensive list here, but these are a few of the most common. Indoor hobbies: blogging, writing, baking, cooking. Baking is making bread, cake, muffins, cupcakes, cookies, etc., and cooking involves all other types of food. Collecting cards, coins, art, antiques, stamps, rocks, or vintage books, cars, or clothing. Vintage items are those of an old or classic style. Sewing, crocheting, knitting. Drawing, painting, photography, scrapbooking. Scrapbooking means arranging photos in a book in an artistic way with decorations. Tinkering with electronics or computers. Playing video games. Woodworking. That means making things with wood. Outdoor and athletic hobbies include bird watching, camping, hiking, gardening, fishing, hunting, jogging, rock climbing, sailing, surfing, water sports, skateboarding. Here are some ways to talk specifically about sports and music. Do you play any sports? Yes, I play. I do yoga. I do martial arts. I do Pilates. No, I prefer working out at the gym. No, I'm not very athletic. No, but I love to watch. I'm a big fan of. Do you play a musical instrument? Yes, I play. I've played the piano for several years. I'm taking guitar lessons. I'm in a band. I sing in a choir. In the dialogue, there are 2 follow-up questions that you can use to ask for more information after the other person tells you their hobbies. How'd you get into that? This question means, how did you become interested in it? I read an article or saw a TV show that piqued my interest. Piqued my interest means it made me interested in learning more. I took a class. I just thought it'd be interesting to try it out. My friend introduced me to it, and I've been doing it ever since. How long have you been doing that? I just started. For a few years. We use for plus a time period. Since I was a kid. We use since plus a point in the past. Ever since I was in college. Conversation number 2. Benefits of hobbies. Erica's wondering which new hobby to take up. Listen to her conversation with Natalie.
Ever since I quit my job, I've had a lot of time on my hands. I really need to find a new hobby.
Well, what's something you've always wanted to try?
I'd love to learn how to dance, but I think I'm too shy.
Oh, don't let that stop you. If I had more free time, I'd definitely take dance classes.
So, what do you like to do for fun?
I've gotten into yoga. It's a great way to relieve stress and a fantastic workout. And I've always enjoyed writing, so I'm going to start a blog.
Oh, good for you. You know, I had a ton of hobbies when I was a kid. I used to collect coins, skateboard, play chess, but none of them really interest me anymore.
Hey, why don't you take up a craft like pottery, knitting, or jewelry making? It'd be fun, and you could even sell your creations to make a little money.
That's actually not a bad idea. I've always wanted to explore my artistic side.
Conversation, vocabulary, and phrases. Erica starts out by saying she has a lot of time on her hands. That means she has a lot of free time with nothing to do. Here are a few more phrases for talking about present, past, and potential future hobbies. I have a lot of time on my hands. I need to find a hobby. I have a ton of different hobbies. A ton of means a very large number of. If I had more free time, I'd use this phrase for an imaginary situation. If I had more free time, I would. I'd like to try. Use this phrase to talk about something you are interested in doing, but you haven't started yet. I used to, but not anymore. Use this phrase to talk about something you did frequently in the past, but you don't do it now. A couple of different benefits are also mentioned in the dialogue. Here are some different answers to the question of why you enjoy your hobby. Because it's a great workout. This means it's good exercise. Because it's a great way to relieve stress. Because it helps me clear my mind. This means it helps you forget your worries and concerns. Because it helps me relax. Because I find it fascinating. Because it's fun, interesting, exciting, or other adjectives. Because I can earn a little extra money on the side. Today's speaking exercise is to tell me about your hobbies. Talk about some hobbies you had in the past, some hobbies you have currently, and one hobby you'd like to try. Click here to record your message, and I'll send you some tips on your speaking.